helped his ally out by building a couple of barracks, or I'm sorry, bunkers rather, out at the choke point here, with some Marauders and SCVs to repair.
This seems pretty uncommon to Kai. I don't know what you think, but he's got, what, 5 bunkers up at this point? He's going very defensive. I haven't seen that happen very often in the beta.
Yeah, me neither, and to be honest, I'm kind of surprised about it because, of course, bunkers are completely salvageable, so you can get 100% of the resources back from selling a bunker, which is huge. So he can basically build those bunkers to help defend without any risk, because if his ally basically gets up and running with his base and can fully defend his base on his own, he can sell these bunkers and basically just move the units out and get all of the money back that he spent on building these bunkers to defend his base. So despite the fact that there's a heavy mineral investment in them right now, later down the road he can get that money back if he needs to.
Yeah, that's a very cool feature, I think, in the new StarCraft.
I agree, and at this point I think it's highly underutilized because for how powerful that is to be able to get the money back for all the resources he invested in that bunker. I would expect more people to put the money into that because, of course, it's not as high risk in StarCraft 1. You would build a bunker and basically the money would be invested and there's no way to get it back. But, of course, in StarCraft 2, if you build that bunker and you can salvage it, then there's not really any risk in it. Basically, the only thing you have to worry about is that you're spending money on a bunker rather than on a unit or a particular tech upgrade or something like that.
Looks like we have some units moving down here. Do they know that there's an expansion in the high yield? It looks like they do.
It looks like they are seeing that Fearless has built some barracks or some bunkers there. Okay, and they do now have view of the Nexus, so they're going to be aware that Protoss is expanding there. And there is 3 Colossi in the mix here, which Colossi are very strong against Terran infantry units, keep in mind. And along with the ground army of this very heavy Zealot and Stalker army, there are a few sentries.
But we do see some Vikings moving in to take out those Colossi.
Yeah, Vikings are very strong against Colossi. However, with the amount of Stalkers and sentries that are mixed in this army, those Vikings are going to have a hard time taking down those Colossi. And it looks like they have once again taken out the Nexus of Protoss. And I don't even think that at this point Protoss has a probe. Yeah, he has no units at all. So
he's completely out of this game.
This is literally a 2v1 at this point, trying to hold off this expansion. He's again got these 2 bunkers here with the supply depots defending them. 1 bunker going down already. And he does have a couple siege tanks up on the ledge here doing a lot of damage. 2 Colossi are now down from the combined fire of the tanks and the Vikings. And it looks like he is about to lose this 3rd one as well. Yeah, all the Colossi are down at this point, and they're going to have to retreat because they can no longer take on the tank fire from the cliff here.
Yeah, I don't think they did a very good job of protecting their Colossi there. When you have Colossi in your army, you have to protect them at all costs, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Typically what you see a lot of Protoss players doing with their micro, and actually 1 Colossi apparently snuck up on the cliff here, trying to do some sneak attacks on the base of Fearless, but Fearless, of course, has a couple more Vikings, which it looks like are going to be able to pick off this Colossi without any problems. But again, what you see a lot of Protoss players doing is once they get the range upgrade for their Colossi, they will keep them on the back lines, and you can see here that he already has researched it. They will keep their Colossi on the back lines while all of their melee and short range units such as Stalkers and Sentries basically take a majority of the damage up front, and then they let the Stalkers basically just do the splash damage from the back end.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do, and especially when they have that range upgrade, it's such a huge advantage. You can basically just leave them in the back and protect them pretty easily.
Yeah, now one thing I am noticing is that looking at the Nexus for RipItUp here, his main Nexus does not have very much energy. Okay, and it looks like he did use it. I did notice that the Nexus did have a lot of energy, which of course the energy in Dekator has not used any of the energy at either of his Nexus.
Yeah, they're not utilizing their Chrono Boost very well.
Chrono Boost, which, yeah, 13, can you tell us how important is it to use Chrono Boost throughout the game?
Oh, it's key. It's critical, especially when, you know, the Terran player has the Mule, which can give them a huge economy upgrade, and the Zerg player has the what is it called? The extra larva.
The spawn larva, yeah.
The spawn larva, which allows you to produce units so much quicker. You have to use that Chrono Boost to keep up with those 2 macro techniques that the other 2 races have.
And now for the Chrono Boost, you can use that both for producing units and for researching upgrades. Which do you typically see the biggest return on? Do you use them to get the research upgrades faster, or do you use them to build units faster?
I typically use them early on to produce probes quicker. To get my economy going. Later in the game I use them for mostly for research, but something that you can do that a lot of people don't realize is you can Chrono Boost your warp gates and they will recharge quicker.
Oh yeah, that is not something that I have actually noticed a lot of people doing, but that is definitely a good tip because as it stands, you already do get a slight production increase. The cooldown time for the warp gates is actually less than the amount of time it takes for a unit to build while it's queued up if you actually just use the regular standard gateways rather than the warp gates. So you could even get a little bit bigger boost on how quickly that cooldown time runs out so that you can build another round of units.
Right, it requires a little bit more micro, but it's definitely worth it in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the new macro mechanics that Blizzard has introduced for StarCraft 2, of course, to take place. Some of the things that people had said would detract from the amount of macro and micro required in the game. Of course, smart casting then at your base. As you can see, there's a rally point going to this mineral, so any SCVs that are built out of this base are going to automatically start mining at the mineral patches, and you can do the same with gas as well. And there was a lot of players that were initially complaining that this was going to take too much of the skill out of StarCraft. Of course, oh wow, I'm sorry, hold that thought. There are a lot of Void Rays out on the map for RipItUp right now.
I'm not really sure if this is the greatest tech to be building here. He has mostly infantry units, and Void Rays are not strong against infantry units.
Going back to the base of Fearless, we do see that he has a lot of Marines. And even a couple ghosts in the mix here, which are extremely useful against the Protoss players.
Ooh, EMP, I fear that.
Yeah, absolutely. EMP completely takes away all of their energy. So any High Templars that have energy for Psystorm, if he can get the EMP off on those High Templars, they will have no energy. Plus, it also takes away 100 energy, which for a lot of the early Protoss units, you can see here the Zealot only has 50 energy for their shields, the Stalker only has 80, but the 100 energy that the Ghost takes away with that EMP round will pretty much take away all of the shields that the Protoss player has for that unit.
Yeah, you're right. It looks like I would think that maybe the Red Protoss built all those Void Rays to take out all those cannons on the ledge. Hopefully we'll see him do that later on in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see that actually Dekator has massed up a sizable army. If we take a look at the resources overlay here, we can see the production for each of the army. Actually, Fearless is currently maxed out at 200 of 200, although it looks like RipItUp and Dekator are falling behind slightly in their production. Although Dekator not as far behind, he's at 141 of 182, and RipItUp only at 129 of 140. So, and it looks like we may see a somewhat large battle here as the blue Protoss, Dekator, is moving out to the front of Fearless's base, although he does have a lot of tanks, and his ally actually joining him with the Void Rays now. 13, what do you expect to see in this battle here coming up? Who do you think has the advantage?
I would think clearly the two Protoss players do. It's a 2v1. Oh, it looks like they're going to use Hallucinate on those Colossus. This could be cool to see. And hopefully we'll see some force field from this huge amount of sentries that the blue Protoss has.
Yeah, that is a lot of hallucinated Colossi, and I'm not sure if Fearless is... Oh, and a nuke going down at the entrance.
My, this could be epic.
Nuke. There are a lot of units at this front entrance.